Is it on?
A few moments later.
And welcome back. I know. I can, this time, I have to admit, this time I was being useless, but let's reverse. Welcome back, Spiritual Science. It's your girl, Faith. And I know I've been alias, I've been AWOL, MIA, every word in the book. I know, I'm positive, I know. But y'all, it feels good to be back. It feels good to be back, not only with y'all, but to myself. Because this, as y'all know, there's always something going on in my life. God's strongest soldier, brigada. I'm telling you, man. But I'm honestly so grateful for how my life has been going, for real. I feel like y'all already know all the stuff that the girl already been through has really been preparing me for everything that's been going on lately and everything that's about to happen. Because, you know, when you are locked in with the good Lord, you already know. God be telling me all the tea. So if you think I don't know that I'm about to blow, best believe I know. Fuck. Girl's been working at this for too long for something to not happen. Come on now, be so real. And I think like that's another thing that I've really been learning to like, cause I'm not gonna lie, y'all gonna get like, you know, this is just a little life update for real, but I'll explain things. You know, I never talk about things while I'm going through it. I will talk about it after, so we can all learn the lesson together instead of having to, you know. But, yeah, so life's been cool. I'm grateful. So many different changes have been happening, bro. When I say your life can change in the blink of an eye, that is like, not even cap. Because I'm telling you, like, y'all gonna see me next time I'm probably on here. Probably be like after I move, because I'm in the middle of moving right now. You already know. So it's like kind of hard for me to really be as active on here as I would like. But I'm definitely getting back in my groove, getting adjusted to the situation, and getting back on my shit. Because what? Huh? You can never keep a bad bitch down. He's so for real. You know what I'm saying? But let's see, as far as updates, spiritual updates, you already know spiritual hygiene is first and foremost. I would definitely say, like, spiritually, over the past couple months, it's really helped me solidify my trust in God, you know? Because you can trust God while you're going through it, while you're begging him to help you. But it's like when things are in a place of like, not complete chaos, but not complete security, stability also, it puts you in this weird like situation mentally that can lead to limbo if you allow it to. But if you choose to actually go forth and learn the lessons that are trying to be taught to you during the situation, whatever the situation may be, it's like, it makes everything so much more valuable. Your experiences, you no longer seem like troubles as much, but you can really start looking at it as you're supposed to, as a lesson. Because y'all know me. My name is even Faith Joy at that. So y'all already know, me and God, something's going on. People stressing me out. People just pissing me off. Come on now. Because why am I going to go to some miserly human being just like myself? Please, we're all trying to learn our spirits in these human bodies. Right now, I feel like, especially in this day and age, everyone's so focused on the human, and not like, everyone's so focused on getting caught up in the human experience, and they forget that we aren't just humans. When your body dies, your body goes into the floor, as I've said time and time again. So if we are not our bodies, then what are we? Spiritual beings. That's why I say spiritual hygiene is so important, because when you get caught up in what you can see, you forget that God is working in the unseen. And wouldn't you rather be working with God than stressing over things that are literally placed in your way to teach you how to trust God? And it's like so simple to say that, but I'm not gonna lie, like that's been this newest phase in my life, trusting God for real. Because I trusted God through everything else. When it's like really abundant that you have no other choice, it's like, of course I'm gonna trust God, because who else would take me out this shit? But when you're in the position where you feel like you should have some type of semblance of control in your physical reality, you can try to get caught up in trying to control the things that are going on instead of allowing the things that are going on to flow through you and only pick up what's you were meant to. I feel like a lot of times we try to carry burdens that are not for us to carry. God talks about it in the Bible that carry your troubles to Him, and I promise you, this year has truly taught me how to do that. I used to think I carried my troubles to God because I prayed, and then I would go straight back to stressing. But now, when I tell you even the difference from April, when I was going through, y'all know what I was going through. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my mindset, even from like a couple months ago, I'm in a completely different space, mentally, emotionally, logically even. And because of that, because of what I've been able to grow through, I've been able to find that balance. And I feel like that's what's been allowing me to keep myself so grounded. Because it's one thing to have faith, but being grounded in your faith is a completely different thing. Because we can say we're grounded, but as soon as something happens that's not to our appeasement, or it's not, aligning with what we think that we want, it's because God is shifting those things out so He can align with you what you truly need. Because a lot of times we think we know our own hearts, but a lot of time we don't take the time to learn our hearts. We know the habits and the things that we continue to do because of our emotions, but in reality, those are just reactions to your emotions. It's one thing to react to your emotion, and then it's another thing to understand why you feel how you feel, and then go forth from that. Not from that position, but from that understanding, to then put forth that knowledge and in a practical way, so that you're actually helping yourself instead of just, coming up with ideas to control a situation you were never meant to control in the first place. So I'm really grateful for that lesson first and foremost, because really, really, that is like a key to even existing. Because like when you allow your mind to overtake what you know in your spirit, it then becomes a battle of spirit and flesh. Because your flesh is telling you, oh, I need this, I have to do this, da 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 da. While God is just looking at you like, if you would just shut up for 2 seconds, shut up that mind of yours. Come and see me. Come and see me for once. Come and see me for once. You know what I'm saying? I swear that's how God be looking at me sometimes. Like, girl, you're over here trying to control a situation I gave to you to give to me. Like, that's really how it be. God be giving us situations to learn and then come back to Him and tell Him what we learn, so we don't have to continue to go through it. What's up, man? You wanna come say hi? Hey, you know this is going on my YouTube, right? Guys, this is one of my roommates. It's okay, you'll be seeing more of them soon. But back to what I was saying. Like, a lot of times I feel like we forget and get so caught up in the human experience that we forget that it's meant to be a gift. All the trials and tribulations and the hardships that come through this experience are nothing more than opportunities to prove to God or to show to God how much faith that you have in him. Because one, we know that he would never give us any type of predicament that we could not handle. God isn't trying to hurt us or harm us or make us feel distraught for nothing. You feel what I'm saying? He truly does work everything out for our greatest good. And if we're being honest with ourselves, a lot of the situations that we find ourselves in, it's self-put. Because we thought that we knew the answers, and instead of first confirming with the person that knows everything already, we go by our own ego, our own pride, make decisions that weren't in alignment with what God wanted for us. And then when he sends a roadblock, because that's not what he wants, we get confused and we get disheartened. But in reality, rejection is just redirection for a better plan. A lot of times our plans, I want one person to comment on here and tell me that they think their plan is better than God's. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. And plus, I want to see my God show out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But not for real. Like, man, learning how to truly let go of control has brought me so much peace, bro. Like, even now, like, there's been situations where old me would have just reacted and then probably everything would have just fallen apart. But where I'm at right now, even like these past couple months, I see God showing me how much I've grown through different people, showing me places that I mentally, spiritually used to be at, and showing my own reaction to that has shown me, girl, you've been doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have truly dedicated to my life. I have truthfully dedicated my life to the purpose God has called over it. And it's hard because people too often think that because you give your life to Christ, you give your life to God, whatever case may be, that then life is just supposed to automatically become easier. That is such cap. And when I say that, please understand, like, I say it with love, but it's cap. It's heavy on the cap. Heavy. Because even if you think about it from a logical standpoint, if God was just making everything easy for you because you say that you trust him, you believe in him, you give your life to him, then how would you know for real? Because God already knows your heart. He knows whether or not you're truthfully in a place of obedience, one, faith, because as soon as something else goes wrong, you'll go right back to cursing God. So it's like, you don't have to prove anything to God because God already knows what your heart looks like, babe. This life that we have is a physical reflection. This whole thing that we call life is a physical reflection of our own souls. So with that being said, if we had no tests, no trials, no tribulations to show ourselves even our own growth, what would be the purpose of living? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying life is supposed to be struggle, wahala, every day something different. But realistically, I think Pastor T.D. Jakes said this one time. He said, the more intense your story, the more powerful the glory. And what I took from that is the things that happen in your life aren't just meant to happen for no reason. For example, y'all already know, I always used to relate my life the most to the story of Job. Job, yeah? That man, he had even all over his skin, he was still praising his God. He lost his children, he was still praising his God. He lost his land, he was still praising his God. So who am I now because I come through this small situation? Because any situation with God is small. So me, I'm still healthy. I'm still able to wake up and breathe every day. I'm still able to wake up and help people every day. I'm still able to wake up and do everything that God has called me to do, and everything that I even want to do in my life. Every time I need something, it's taken care of. So why now would I stop having faith in the same person who is providing all these things? But a lot of times when we see those small blessings, we take them for granted. So when we're looking for the bigger picture, quote unquote, we're confused. But it's like, how can you expect God to be comfortable giving you a big blessing, big abundance, yeah? If even the small things that he's giving you on a daily basis, you're not showing him the gratitude for it. How then can he trust that you won't forget him when he gives you everything that he promised you? Because that's another thing that happens. I even spoke about before on another episode. You see these artists grinding. They go up. They get lost in the things of the world. They get lost in the material shit that really does not matter. Because all that material shit, when you're dead and gone, where is it? Here, with your body. Where does your spirit go? That's up to you. And a lot of times, it's like, because we get so caught up in the material wealth, growth, we forget the spiritual level. And we forget that everything in this world that we have is a direct reflection of ourselves and how we see ourselves. Not only because the only person that can measure your growth is yourself. You're the only person that can measure your story to any extent. So now, if you're not taking that time for yourself, even through the trials and tribulations, even through the isolation season, that's the time where you're supposed to be taking time for yourself, taking time for you and God. Go to a quiet place and ask the one person who knows you. Get to know yourself through him. And that's been the biggest thing also for me. The more I draw closer to God, the more I get to learn myself. Because learning God has taught me unconditional love. Learning the love that God has for me has now allowed me to show that same love to myself. And because I've been able to show that same love to myself, I do not need anyone in this life. As far as emotionally, the way I used to be codependent, I'm not like that anymore. And it's not just because, I up and said one day, no. But it's because I took the time, I was consistent with myself. A lot of times we forget to show up for ourselves. We want to be handling this one, that one, this one, forgetting that God's already taking care of it to make space for you. You're supposed to give your troubles to God to make space for yourself and make space for him. Because if not, it's then, what are you doing? You're just getting caught up in the day-to-day nonsense that's going to be there every single day. Nothing will change outwardly until you decide to change inwardly, because that is where God resides. First, before anything else, don't get me wrong, God is in everything. But when it comes to you, God is within you. So if you're not taking that time to get to know yourself, get to know God, get to know your past, get to know why you went through the things that you went through. If you just dismiss, where are you getting your information from? At that point, if you're no longer taking the time for him and yourself, you're getting that information from yourself. And with all due respect, who are you? In comparison to the one who made you, who are you to truly know what you need? Not in the sense of I'm talking about broader picture. What you need to go moving forward. Why would you want to rely on your own steps that have failed you before? Why not take the chance? Because really, if it doesn't go your way, go back to doing what you're already doing. That's what we usually do anyways. We don't stick it through, because as soon as we don't get the answer that we want or the answer that we're looking for, or we feel like God's taking too long to tell us, when our God is an on-time God, and every time he needs you to know something, he will make it known. Like, we get so caught up in this world, and it's very easy to. And that's why it's like I've really learned through unconditional love for myself to be so understanding. Because really, bro, this life can be hard. This life can be so hard. So it's like, I understand, but at the end of the day, it is a decision that only you can make. No one else can make that decision for you to take that 5-10 minutes with God. No one else can make that decision for you to take that 5-10 minutes for yourself. A lot of times, not only in like the things that happen to us, but things that happen to the people around us. I know for me, for a long time, because of the neglect that I had to face growing up as a kid, like the emotional neglect, it was like I always felt like I had to be there for everybody and their mama because I never had anyone there for me emotionally when I needed it. So it's like, for a long time, I didn't realize I was acting out of that trauma. And I became codependent, not necessarily on other people, but I became codependent on my worth to other people. I got so caught up in needing to feel valuable because I didn't value myself that I was looking to make anyone happy, to make me feel like someone in this world values me, not knowing or not realizing that the person that valued me so much to breathe life into me is just sitting there waiting. And it's like, it's a lot easier said than done because you can't see God. You can't necessarily always physically feel God. You can feel him, you can feel his presence in the things that you're dealing with or when you go to speak to him, but it's so hard to have so much faith in something that you can't see on a day-to-day basis. So obviously it would be much easier to rely emotionally on what you can see, on what you can feel, on what you can go right to make you feel safe. But the only person that can make you truly feel safe, not just for some short term or anything like that, but truthfully feel safe within yourself, within your own skin in this world, there's only one person that can lead you to that. And the more I've been learning that, the more I've been accepting that, because it's one thing to say it, try and do it, but to really accept that this life I have no control and that all control truthfully belongs to God, it's like, it's hard because it's scary. It is so scary. It's frightening. Having to fully trust in something and fully believe in something that you can't see, that you can't substantially hold on to when you feel you need it, when your ego, when your pride feels that it needs to be reassured, it's then truthfully a power of faith, a challenge of faith. But getting to that point, man, I have never felt so much peace in this life. And y'all already know how I grew up. I did not grow up knowing peace. I had to teach that to myself. So even like earlier this year, my biggest fear was losing that peace, especially with everything that I went through. Because at the time, I'm not gonna lie, that's what I'm saying, your life can change so quickly once you allow it to. At that time, I was still resisting. I was still resisting what I needed to make myself align with what was actually for me and not what made me feel comfortable and what made me feel safe in that moment. And learning that not everything that makes you feel safe is safe for you, shit. And y'all already know my stubborn ass, I definitely learned it the hard way. I definitely learned it the hard way, sure did. But now that I understand that, it's just like, I could never let it go. It's like once you realize an apple is red, yeah? It's like, how are you gonna come and tell me this apple is blue? And now that I'm at that point with my faith, it's like, can't anything that I see, anything that I'm going through, anything surround me even shake my faith a little bit? You will not see me quarreling. You will not see me nothing. Because at the end of the day, if I need any answers, I know who I can run to. And I know who has, truthfully, because he loves so unconditionally, has my best interests at heart. So I'm not wasting time looking for answers from people who are going to tell me what I know I want to hear. But I can instead take the time and listen. Even if God is speaking through other people, listen to what he's trying to say to me and not listen to what makes my ego, what makes my pride comfortable. Because my ego and my pride are not the things that are going to bless me. It's my faith that will bless me. It's my perseverance that will bless me. It's my love for God, for myself, and for those who he has put me in the position to aid, to be a blessing to, the same way he blesses me. So in order to be a blessing, how can I be a blessing if I don't have faith? How can I be a blessing to other people if I don't trust that God will be a blessing onto me? How am I going to continue to share blessings that I don't believe that I have? But it's all in your head. That's one thing to understand. What you think that you have is fully based on who you believe that you are. And who I believe that I am is God's child. So there is nothing in this world that I cannot touch. There's nothing in this world with time and with persistence and perseverance that I cannot achieve. And knowing that allows me to understand I have no boundaries in this world. No boundaries could ever hold me back because God has already broken every shackle that existed in my life. He gave me the strength and the power to do so. So what else do I have to fear? The only place the devil can have any standing ground is my mind. And because I have built that faith with God, my mind is too strong for him to have anything quivering. Nobody here is shaking in their boots, you know? So please take that with you this week. And be patient with yourself and show yourself grace, because even with everything that I said, it still takes time. And it's like, be understanding of yourself. When you allow those feelings, those thoughts to take control, don't be mean to yourself. Because that's another thing. Unconditional love, you have to allow yourself to make mistakes. You're gonna fuck up. You are bound to fuck up. If Adam and Eve off rip already fucked up, why do you now feel decades, not even decades, please, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, you are going to mess up, and that is okay. That's the thing about unconditional love that we don't understand, because we're not taught it in this world. That's why the only person you can truthfully learn it from is God. But when you really start to learn how to love yourself unconditionally, you will learn to allow yourself to make mistakes and to not judge yourself, but instead understand that you're not starting over, but you're starting from experience. You're never starting from scratch when you mess up. You're starting knowing that you've already done this and it did not work. So that only increases your chances of doing it better this time. The only way you could do it worse is if you do the same thing again. And that's just insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Don't allow yourself to be insane. Let common sense be common in your life. I'm begging you people. But for real, like, go throughout this week. Please, you guys, try and strengthen those prayer journals. Even if you don't like to write, just talk to God once a day. Just be like, hey, how you doing? What are we doing today? You know what I'm saying? You would be surprised how he answers you. And don't put expectations or limitations on God and how he can speak to you in your life. Because he can speak to you through anything, but you have to allow him the space to do so. So y'all know the vibes. Go throughout this week knowing that you are loved, you are valued, and you matter. show yourself grace this week. Give yourself in the mirror, give yourself a kiss in the mirror every time you pass one, but don't be vain. Don't be vain. But yeah, y'all, thank you for tuning in. We about to hit episode 20. I'm gonna do a poll on Instagram to see what episode 20 should be about. But y'all know the vibes. Stay blessed, no stress, and we conquer everything in this world. Amen. Praise God.